I thought I'd show a couple of things I made recently, and I'll just put them in a scene so we can see them. Oh, that's interesting. It's suggesting my own thing to me. So there's that, and there's that, and they don't look great, but they do the thing. So if I play, I can drag this around like it was a value slider, and I can press R2 on this to turn the switch on and off, which is pretty cool. And if I output those, so I'll put that one over that side, and I'll put that one over that side. And like that. So now this one is actually outputting stuff, and that one is actually outputting stuff. So I thought I'd show you how to make them and see how far we get. Cool, so I'll put the grid on, and first we'll just make like the parts of this switch. Put the grid on. So yeah, so the color of these, I'll just grab that one for now. I just chose a color. And it's kind of slightly wider than it is tall, and we don't really need it to be that fat. Cool. Okay, so it's kind of like a box, but then it has rounded corners. So in here we will grab a sphere like that, and we don't want blend. Like that. I'll put that one over there. Oh. Now, because we're not worrying about the depth, we can just plonk them anywhere really. Cool. And now we grab a cube again, and then we expand it out to meet like the top of that round bit. Like that, and then we get another cube, and I'll just plonk that down, and then use the stretch tool to get it the right height. Pull down like that. Now we stretch it all forward. Oh, stretch the cylinders forwards and backwards. I should probably close the window, shouldn't I? That one's playing about. There you go. Okay, so somewhere in there is the actual shape we want. Let's grab a cube. So if we put a slice in here, then now that surface is completely smooth. Oh, and now it's buzzing instead. Apologies. So we'll stamp that there, and then we'll stamp another one on this side, and hold R1 and kind of rotate around like that. Cool. Now we want that to be kind of a whole number for making it easier to work with later. So I'll grab the stretch tool and stretch the negative. Nice. So now we have like the bulk of that. It's probably slightly different shape, but we could probably, I'll just adjust it. So now I'll make a new sculpt, and this will be pretty simple. It will be just white, I think. Oh, we need to grid on again. and it's wonky. And this just has to fill that hole. Which is interesting, it's not right. There you go. But the thing is, you can just about see it through the surface, so I'll just use stretch to make it very slightly shorter, and then I'll stretch it out on the sides, this time using the grid. And that is way too thick. There you go. Oh. Okay, and then push it up from the bottom. Push it in from the side then. Actually, we will use size smooth for that, or just nothing. So we can move it just enough. Okay, I think that's okay. Okay, so now we just want to make that glow when it's on. So let's group this first, and then we'll go in and get the grid on and make it a bit fatter with L1 up or down. Get a microchip, and it always places it really far away because you're working on something small. It doesn't like it very much. And that should be okay. Then I'll open it, and first we need a keyframe to give that some glow. Not too much, just enough to make it white, and we don't want it to emit light or cast shadows, probably. I don't know. Cool, so when that's on, it's glowing. And to test that, we can just grab that. So probably wants to glow a little bit more. Yeah, it's not bad. Another thing is to have text up there. So let's do that. Where am I looking? Switch. And we want that to be in the scene, like that. And we'll move it over here, across a little bit. But we also want it to be left aligned, because like in here, if you write a load of stuff, it's butting up against that left side. So that will do the same. Don't want a background on it, or a border. This is definitely too dark. That's better. Cool. So that's not a bad facsimile of it. Now we want to also have in here a output node. Turn that to an output. Now, even though it's in there, normally gadgets like the microchip, that isn't shown, but ports are, to make it easier to like hook other things into them without going deep into the logic of it. So let's make this roughly the same color. That'll be good enough. And it's kind of like that, so I guess we can make it smaller. Huh. And what does it call that? On-off output. // Cool, so that's kind of the same. I think I will change it to that. And that's just output, isn't it? So I'll just leave it at that. And now we'll actually get the functionality for this working. So we want to be able to grab it with R2. To do that, we go to the sculpture physical properties and go to interaction and set it to grab. And now we'll use a grab sensor. We'll turn off the grid. Oh. And we want to know if we are grabbing it. And when we grab it, we'll like toggle if we're on or off. So to store that, we will, there it is, signal manipulator. So in here, if you go to custom remapper, down here there are edge modes. An edge, for this definition, is when a signal goes from 0 to becoming positive, or positive and becoming 0. So when it's 0 and becomes positive, that edge is on, an on edge. And then later on when it goes from positive to 0, that's an off edge. That's my understanding of it. So toggle in output at on, which means when the signal coming into it goes to a positive signal, it'll toggle whatever is being output. So first it will be off, but when we grab it, then it will become on. Then when we grab it again, then it will become off. So we'll plug that into there, and plug that into the node over there, and we don't need that switch. So if we go into play mode, you can grab it. No, oh, we haven't hooked it up yet. So if you tweak the grab sensor, we can tell it what we're sensing a grab from. So we get a wire and scope in, hook it to the actual button there, and now that grab sensor will use that button to turn on and off like that. And just to test like we did before, put that into one of them, and it's actually let's delete these other ones so I'm not confused by it. On and off, on and off. And we can, but something even better we can do. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but the switch doesn't have to send just ones and zeros. Nope. It can send, this is the off value and that's the on value. This has to be lower than the on value, but other than that you can make these whatever value you like. So let's display more numbers and make that some funny values. And now if we just test that part, remove that, runtime. So we're sending 5.2 when it's on, and when we turn it off, now it's sending negative 2.7. So that's pretty cool. So what we can do here is tell this whether it's on or off, and then this will send out that value or that value from its output. So we can use that instead. So if we hook that back up, then it's sending the right values like that. And so this is effectively the settings. All the settings you need is in there for like the outputs. That's cool. Give that a name. And that's pretty much done.